And all our sadness has been washed away. The drug that keeps me breathing, when I stick it in me every day. Got me down.
VC. This, I found this in the back of a record store in the bin for $10 a few weeks back. I recognized the cover from someone talking about it years ago in the VC, but with a title like that, you can't not grab it. Moroccan Sufi music by the Islamic Mystical Brotherhood on the Lyrical label. Yeah, I was really happy to find this cheaply a few weeks back. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm loving it. Speaking of cheap records, this is kind of a bit of a fun video that I thought I would do. It's kind of a mixture of a vinyl finds video versus kind of talking about spending money on records that you never listen to. And the reason I decided to make the video is because I was up in Auckland at my parents' house last week, and just by pure coincidence, down at the local community hall, a guy was selling what he called a record fair, but it was essentially his collection kind of thing. And it just happened to be on a Saturday morning, literally 10 minutes walk from my parents' place, which was really bizarre because they live an hour north of the city. It's kind of like an older person's area. So I just popped down, and I wasn't expecting to find anything. And I picked up two records that have always been cheap records that I've always been keeping an eye out for. Kind of made me feel, it reminded me of the good old days of record collecting, where I could spend next to nothing and get some things that I really enjoyed. Because these days sometimes I feel like I'm getting into bad habits of spending big money on things that I'm barely going to listen to. And it felt great, and I had such a good time. Most of the records were crap, but the two that I found, I spent $10 on. I think it was about $15 in total for both of them. So anyway, I kind of wanted to show one record I bought recently for $50. This is New Zealand, $50 New Zealand dollars, and then I'm going to show 5 records that I've also bought in the last couple of weeks that add up to $50. And you can decide what's what's more enjoyable. Is it more enjoyable for me to get the 5 cheapies or the one rare record that I've been on my list for ages, kind of thing. I kind of get torn between this approach quite often. So what I'll do first is I'll show you the 5 records that I picked up that amounted to $50 in total, and at the end I'll show you the expensive rare record. I just thought it'd be a fun way of doing a vinyl finds, really. So in that record fair, I finally found a copy of this record here that's still really cheap and really fantastic. This is La Variety by Weeknd. Weeknd is basically 2 members, I think, 2 permanent members of Young Marble Giants, and I think what's his name? Is it Stuart Moxham? Guests on a few of the tracks. This is a really, really easygoing, almost like a loungy, jazzy, a bit post-punky, a bit African in parts, cheap, groovy, breezy record. It's summertime here in New Zealand, so this is a fantastic find. Now, this has been on my list, honestly, for forever. And it was just really nice to see it there. I think this was $10. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Rough Trade, I should say, from 82, earlier than I thought. I kind of know this record pretty well inside out from listening to it on YouTube many times over the years, but I'm so happy to finally get a copy. Something that you can just buy cheap, get at home, and really enjoy listening to it. It just gave me a really good feeling being able to pick it up. And not spend any money, and almost completely unexpectedly too. So that kind of made my day. The other one I picked up at the same fair. There we go. Was this record here, which I only discovered about three or 4 years ago through a group chat I'm in with Fred Big Star 1000. This is Linda Lewis Lark, a wonderful, wonderful, super cheap record you can still get cheaply. There you go. Now, what would I describe this as? It's kind of like soul folk or folky soul, groovy. She has an amazing, beautiful voice, really well written songs. Bit of funk, bit of soul, bit of it's basically mainly acoustic guitar, but she has an amazing voice in very sort of high pitched, high registers. I really like this record. I think all the songs are really interesting. It doesn't lose my attention. Check out the track. The first track, Spring Song, is really beautiful, but I really like the first track on side 2 called Old Smoky. Lovely. So really, really happy to get this again. Another cheap one I've been after for a long time. A few days before that, I went to I guess you'll call it an antique mall, and I found some more cheap records that had, they weren't want listers or anything like that, but I'd always been curious about them, and I never really wanted to pay anything for them. $2 for a copy of Jan Hammer Melodies. I don't think this is an expensive record, but I'd always really liked the track Don't You Know. So I just grabbed a record, and there it was, $2, and I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of a bit cheesy. It's kind of funky, cheesy 80s fusion, but I'm into it. I just had a really good time. Not a particularly cool record, but amazing tight playing. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great record, and for $2, it's definitely a great record, So that's that one. I picked up this, but I'm not enjoying it. So I think Fred talked about this musician a while ago on a thing, and I picked up this because the cover's the same, but I'm pretty sure the one to get is called Transformation, but this is called Video Flashback, and it's a compilation. And it's got Sting, Andy Summers, and Stuart Copeland on it, so the Police are on here. But for me, this gets a little bit too into a bit cheesy for me, but I picked this up for $10, and I gave it a crack, and I listened to it, and I kind of enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, so I'll probably move it along. But I took a risk, and I haven't done that in a long time. Eberhard Schoner. Yeah, it's very of its time, but it doesn't matter because I only spent $10, and I can probably sell it for $10, and I got to listen to something that I hadn't listened to before. Yeah, I think Sting kind of like moans his way through this a little bit, and it puts me off. And then the last thing I found, I took the price tag off, but this was $5. So fantastic. You can't go wrong with those first three Sade records. I had the other two. I was missing this one. I always wanted to find a cheap copy of it. Love is Stronger Than Pride, Paradise, Nothing Can Come Between Us. Just those three tracks, absolutely fantastic. Not a cool, not a trendy record or anything like that. Well, I don't know these days, but yeah, I put this on the other day. The sun was shining. I was loving it, and I was like, this is the best $5 I've spent in a long time. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, so that cost me. That was $50 in total. One of them I can probably sell and didn't enjoy, but it was really really nice to pick up some cheap records. But here's a record that I bought online a few weeks ago. And to be honest, I've never sat down and listened to it, but it's always been on my radar. Now, a lot of you will know this already. Milford Graves percussion ensemble with Sonny Morgan. This is on ESP disc, which, as you know, is very pricey. This is a Japanese pressing. I got this shipped for $50. I think it was $50 and a little bit of shipping. And I bought it I bought it because it's a good price. Have I ever sat down and listened to it before? Honestly, no. But I know, obviously, I know who these people are. I know this is a highly regarded album. Is it good? Yes, it's very good and it's very interesting, but it's just percussion for one album. And I've listened to it once and I was like, this is alright. Twice, I kind of enjoyed it. The third time, I really enjoyed it. But how often am I going to go, oh, let's listen to this solo percussion record? You know, it just felt like such a contrast in terms of where my spending goes. Like, there's no doubt these guys are obviously legends and are amazing. I love the music, but in terms of what I get out of it on a daily basis, you know, 5 records there that are kind of, you know, something I can put on around the house as loud as I want, whenever I want. You know what I mean? Versus something like this that I just know that I will listen to a few times. I'll file it away and I'll probably pull it out in 3 or 4 years, give it another listen, and then put it back away. You know what I mean? It's kind of getting hard to justify these sort of purchases. But yeah, that's some records that I've picked up. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Sometimes I think I'm crazy for some of the dollars that I spend on you know, records that I probably won't listen to that much. Am I just ticking boxes? Has it been on my list forever? So therefore I'm going to spend money on it, you know? It's just a really hard balance, I think. I've got a friend that has an amazing record collection, but he does not give a shit about pricing or discogs or the market or social media. And to him, you know, a first press ESP disc, he will enjoy as much as an Enya record because he doesn't know the values or anything like that, and he can just look at it completely objectively. And I kind of envy that, you know, like that's where it should be about. And that's why I think, you know, streaming and digital levels a playing field in that respect for people. It doesn't, you know, you can kind of listen to whatever you want whenever you want, and you can switch it up at any moment, and there's no sort of barrier, you know. Like I do think we can get trapped into spending a lot on rare records because they are rare, or because they are certain labels, or because other people in the VC are showing them. That's another thing. You know, it's a tough one, but yeah, just buying those cheap records, they really start to make me think about buying habits and what my mileage are from those records, sort of thing. Anyway, that was all. Hope you enjoyed that. Just something a bit different. I will see you all soon. Thank you again for watching. Goodbye.